look at how we go after NSA whistleblowers.
Right.
Okay? You know, and they are doing something out of principle, not necessarily out of self-aggrandizement. Here's a guy who is divulging state secrets. I mean, under Article 92 of the Uniform Code of Military Justice, he could be tried and he could be dishonorably discharged. He could go to jail. He should at the very least lose his pension and lose his health benefits.
Osama bin Laden is long fish food. Yet his shadow remains dark and ominous across the world as al-Qaida remains a terrorist force to be reckoned with. In the perfect world, we would never know the identity of the person who put him down. In the military world of code, that person would have remained anonymous forever. But this is the world where we demand to know everything, and where far too often people believe their 15 minutes of fame is more important than their own security, and possibly even revealing secrets that could put others in fear of their own lives, perhaps those of their family and friends. It is a pleasure to welcome back to Midpoint Senior Fellow at the London Center for Policy Research, former Lieutenant Colonel in the U.S. Army, and expert on intelligence and counterterrorism, Tony Shaffer joins us. Lieutenant Colonel, pleasure to have you on again.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Good to be on.
How insulted are you right off the top that a former Navy SEAL would look to make a buck and tell everybody about what he did?
I have mixed feelings, and I'll tell you why. There's not a single individual wrong here. There's exactly 3 different versions out right now. So the question becomes, who's the most wrong out of the 3? First off, Mark Bissonnette wrote the book No Easy Day, so he broke ranks first. So
and he was the one who was on 60 Minutes. We want to point out, too, he's the one who went in with his identity masked as much as he could, and now, just recently, went on 60 Minutes again and said if he had it to do over again, he would not have done it.
But he did it.
Yes.
And now we have someone else coming doing it. And then we have a third person who talked to CNN who gave another version of events. So the answer is kind of, I want to be split the baby here if I can. First off, I think a lot of this went off track when President Obama personally took credit for this. And I thought that was, first off, appalling. Then secondly, I thought it was very bad that Joe Biden then blew the cover of the unit, SEAL Team 6, which has obviously been in the news. So when you look at this in historic perspective, there's been other key events similar of nature and scope. And I would refer to the bombing of Hiroshima during World War II and the Enola Gay. Right after that happened, Ed, they declassified the names of the crew and the event. You could not hide the fact that we blew up a major city in Japan using a new weapon. I think we should have looked at this retrospectively a similar way, that these 3 individuals, whoever they were, should have been acknowledged for what they did and given the chance to go public in a controlled way. Again, I think credit should have been given where credit is due. They should have been given the option to go public. With that said, the way they've done it is completely inappropriate. And as in the introduction, the individual speaking talked about the fact that people did sign documents. There are ways of getting information out. As you know, Ed, we've talked about this. My book, Operation Dark Heart, was hugely controversial, but we tried to follow the rules. We tried to have it reviewed appropriately before it was released. We didn't see that here from these SEALs, and therefore it makes it very problematic that something bad's probably going to happen to them, both legally and from the ranks of their own membership.
No, let's go ahead and say it right now. Yes. A lot of the Navy SEALs are very unhappy with it. The Navy SEAL leadership itself, as a matter of fact, part of the ethos itself of the Navy SEAL is, I do not advertise the nature of my work nor seek recognition for my actions.
Right.
About the minute or so that we have left here, a lot of SEALs are very unhappy about this because it not only puts these individuals at risk, it puts SEALs and their families at risk as well. Wouldn't you agree with that?
I agree. No, right after the bin Laden hit occurred, a certain 3-letter network came to me and wanted me to help them chase down SEALs' homes in part of Virginia. I mean, that's how loony the media was on this. So, of course, like, are you kidding me? And if the media does that, you've got terrorists now, especially ISIS. ISIS is now making a point of targeting members of the United States military. Clearly, SEAL Team 6 and their family members would be prime targets. So this is not an easy issue to talk about, Ed, from any number of perspectives, but one that's for those who have come forward without proper authorization and not gotten proper clearance, it's not going to go well for them.
30 seconds. Do you think they should be tried in a military court?
I think that the best way of handling this is behind the scenes. There's ways of dealing with folks administratively without having to bring this to the light of day. The more attention you bring to this, Ed, the worse it's going to get. There's ways of doing this. Trust me. There's other things I'm dealing with right now that are similar in nature that they'll probably never see the light of day for the right reasons. With that said, the public will probably have some understanding of it in the end. With that said, the public does deserve some accounting The way this is happening is not the right way for the public to find out.
These guys are going to walk around with a target on their back for the rest of their lives. Okay, stand by, please. We're back with Lieutenant Colonel Tony Shaffer after the break. Russian tanks are on the move, and more disturbing news about chemical weapons in Iraq. And next hour here on Midpoint, we'll be joined in studio by Callista and Newt Gingrich to talk about more than just politics. It's all coming up right here on Midpoint.